What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast, and whatever platform you are listening to this on. I want to let you know I really do appreciate it. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for being so. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. And let's get into this podversation. All right, guys, I normally don't talk about things when they first come out because just how my schedule is, when I'm able to record content, that's when I'm doing it. And sometimes it may be a day later, a week later, it may even be a month later until I'm able to get a chance to talk about some of these things and just share my thoughts and views and opinions on the topics that I choose to discuss. And on my YouTube channel, I've done several previous podversations that I talked about politics and BS. That's one of the categories of topics that I've shared some of my thoughts and views on, but I don't do that very often because one, I'm not a political person, and I know a lot of people say that, but two, even though I try my best to just be aware of what's going on, and I do vote, even though sometimes I don't know if my vote makes a difference, but unlike some people who feel like, well, I'm not going to vote because it doesn't make a difference anyway. I feel like if the government goes through so many hoops and hurdles to try to prevent people from voting, I feel that it's something that is important. So I do it just simply because of that. But the reason I even brought that up is I just wanted to talk about the breaking news regarding Tucker Carlson and the fact that he has been fired from Fox News. Now, when the news broke that the lawsuit that Dominion voting machines had filed against Fox News and that they were going to be going to trial, and Fox News requested that the trial be delayed because they were trying to settle. Myself being someone who formerly was in the legal field, I was a legal assistant for 12 years. I saw that Fox News definitely had a lot to lose. So that is why it was in their best interest to try to settle out of court. And the amount that they settled for was no small amount, but in all actuality, even though it is a bit of a toss-up when you go to trial, whether you will win or lose, you just never really know. I mean, ask OJ. But I'm just saying, sometimes the right, and I'm not talking about right politics, left politics, I'm just saying, but sometimes the thing that is right doesn't win in court all the time. So it really is a gamble. So if the other side is willing to settle out of court, sometimes it's just in your best interest to do that, as well as to lessen the cost, because if they did indeed win, the likelihood is that the judgment would have far exceeded what they came to in a settlement. And when someone settles out of court, that amount, it has to be paid. Now, when it comes to a judgment, if that plaintiff wins and the defendant loses, they can come back and request that the amount that was awarded be lowered. And so it just drags it out. So it also was in Dominion's it was in their best efforts and everything like that to come to a settlement as well and just get your money and move on. Well, after that $787 million settlement was announced, I knew that Fox News was going to start making some cuts. But to be honest with you, I really didn't expect them to start at the top. I felt that they were going to cut some other people in some other areas and forsake the few that would be, I guess, deemed as less important or less popular, so, shall we say, than the top people like the Tucker Carlsons and the Sean Hannitys, okay? But let's just be clear. I don't watch Fox News. I get it that there are a lot of people that they stay glued to the television like the former president, and that's all they watch. Now, I don't know if these days he's really watching them as much as he used to, because after they didn't really stand by him after the last election, like he was expecting them to, he said a lot of negative things about that news station. And also, when it comes to Tucker Carlson, his show was the most popular on the network. So they need those ratings, they need those views, they need those advertising dollars to continue to see a big flow and influx of money coming in. So it's being reported by Love B. Scott that he's been fired, and it's that the company made the surprise announcement on today, Monday, adding that his final airing was on Friday. So he's not going to get the opportunity to have a farewell speech or say anything like that on their network anymore, at least. And so the statement is, Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. We thank him for his service to the network as a host and prior to that as a contributor. And they're going to have a rotating slate of guest hosts to fill in until a replacement is found. And so what I wanted to speak to this is the fact that I expected firings to happen. I really didn't expect them to start at the top like they did. But all of this, I believe, is just like it was all not in his favor, because at the same time of this Dominion settlement that happened, there was the young boy who is still fighting for his life at this point, Ralph Yarl, who was almost taken out of here by a neighbor who his own grandson calls him racist. And the grandson made some comments about the man that shot Ralph Yarl. And I'm going to play this clip and continue with my commentary.
Now to Andrew Lester, the white homeowner who is accused of shooting a black 16-year-old, Ralph Yarl. He pled not guilty yesterday to 2 felonies. Lester told police that he was scared to death of Yarl due to his size. Now, Lester is 84 years old, was released on bond. He is due back in court June 1st. Prosecuting attorney said there was a racial component to this case. Miraculously, Yarl is back at home, recovering from his injuries after 3 days in the hospital. This is a picture of him taken yesterday with his lawyer, Lee Merritt. So joining us now is Clint Ludwig. He is the grandson of Andrew Lester, and we always like to get a perspective on thinking of someone who knows him, why they might do this. So, Clint, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Don. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So what is your reaction? What was your reaction when you heard that your grandfather shot Ralph Yarl for ringing his doorbell?
I was disgusted. I thought it was terrible. Myself and my family stand with Ralph Yarl and seeking justice. This is a horrible tragedy. It never should have happened.
Folks are going to want to know, why are you speaking out and apparently against your grandfather?
It's the right thing to do. This country happens over and over again where people get away with killing unarmed, innocent black people, and I would have had the same energy for any other case like I've had over and over again in this country, like I said. But so it's the right thing to do, and people need to speak out and not make any excuses for this kind of behavior and this violence.
So you said for killing innocent black people. The prosecutor in this case has suggested that there was a racial component to it. Do you believe your grandfather is racist?
I believe he holds racist tendencies and beliefs.
Why do you say
that? He's just a stock American Christian male. It's older, that's just how they are. It's the conspiracies and weird random racist things, and they say, and it doesn't make sense, but they're just scared.
Now, listen, you're generalizing a lot here about, you said, older Christian white males, but what do you mean by that? What do you mean they're scared? Talk to me more, please.
It's just, I feel like a lot of people of that generation are caught up in this 24-hour news cycle of fear and paranoia perpetuated by some other news stations, and he was fully into that, sit and watch Fox News all day, every day, blaring in his living room. And I think that stuff really kind of reinforces this negative view of minority groups, and leads people to be it doesn't necessarily lead people to be racist, but it reinforces and galvanizes racist people and their beliefs.
Now, apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, Clint, you said that your grandfather would say or do things, apparently that you did not subscribe to that caused you to distance yourself from him. Say and do things like what?
That's right. A lot of it was the kind of QAnon level conspiracies about election denying, and then they got really weird with some Fauci dogs. I really didn't know what that meant, but I would push back on some of this stuff, and he couldn't handle being pushed back on. And at a certain point, we kind of lost touch, and I think it was more of his choice than mine.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it right there, but you heard what the grandson said about his grandfather, who is accused of shooting Ralph Yarl, that he was someone that sat and watched Fox News all day. Listen, I'm not here to judge anyone that chooses to watch that news station if they want to. I don't subscribe to any news station, and to be honest with you, I feel that people like Tucker Carlson, the fact that these people have become pretty much celebrities, I just think it's ridiculous when news anchors and, people who sit in those spaces become famous and pretty much celebrities when all you're supposed to really be doing is reporting the stories. But a lot of these people it's just become opinionated things, and you're going to get people that either agree with you or disagree with you. But when you get to the point where it's like this situation where this man shot someone who rang his doorbell, and the grandson says that he watched that news station all day and he spouted off a lot of things that he was hearing on this news station because he was being programmed. That's the reason why they call it television programming. Anything you sit and watch all the time, there's going to be a level of programming, and it's up to you to, opt against it, not allow yourself to be fed all of that garbage all the time, or just exit out of your life. But this man being 84 years old, that's all he was doing, and he was pretty comfortable in that. And it got to the point where you were so fearful of a black person that rang your doorbell. He did not try to break into the house, and you shot him, and he was down on the ground, and you shot him again. I believe for sure that the Dominion settlement had a lot to do with Tucker Carlson's firing, although they say that they've agreed to part ways, but I believe he was fired. I do also believe that in conjunction with this situation, this is just one of a number of them, but this one is more recent, where someone who's been watching someone like Tucker Carlson all the time, and then they get all of these ideas in their mind and they go out here and they do things that are against the law. How much longer could Fox News endure that? And so I believe that not just the settlement of the lawsuit, but with this situation happening as well, it may have caused some advertisers to opt out or to threaten to pull out if Tucker Carlson was not fired. This is what I believe. And that's why I believe that he did not get a farewell opportunity. They probably told him after the show aired because it's live, versus him knowing prior to it. And who knows, he may have felt that it was coming on, so he may already have some things in the works. And trust and believe, he's definitely not going to be in the unemployment line needing to get an unemployment check so that he can pay his bills. He's going to be quite fine. And that's the sad thing about it with people like that. They never really get taken down. You may part ways with them and, situations like that, but they pretty much continue to live and operate almost as if nothing ever happened. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes, but I really just wanted to talk about this because, again, when that settlement was announced, I felt that some firings were coming. He may not be the last, but I really was surprised to hear of him being one of the first after that settlement was announced, and also with the situation with Ralph Yarl and how the grandson came out to say, like, look, my family and I, we stand with Ralph Yarl. We're disgusted with my grandfather and what he did, and he started really spouting a lot of racist things and just really just so tuned into Fox News all of the time that the programming definitely had an influence on him. Not to say that it started that, because I'm quite sure that this was someone who already had those beliefs, and he found a place where he felt comfortable, and they continued to contribute to the feelings and thoughts that he already had. Okay. So with that being said, guys, I just really wanted to discuss that. I really would love to know respectfully what you think about it. What's done is done. Fox News has got to come up on that money. And the part that sucks about it too is that they've got insurance for that. So they're not really going to be losing much in terms of liquid assets. But they definitely will be penalized when it comes to the insurance, and I'm sure the premium is going to go up, and so there's costs that are going to have to be repositioned and cut and all of those different things. So it looks like Tucker Carlson was one of the first to feel it. So guys, you let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section. Thank you so much for liking this commentary and subscribing. This is Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.